Trojan family, Trojan gang. Fight on forever is in the building. And today we finna talk about USC and Lincoln Riley. Is they finally changing course? Right? Is they finally getting their mind right? Is they finally getting things together? See, it's been two things, not the only two things, but it's been two things that the USC nation and the USC fam has been concerned about during this whole process, this new regime and this new NCAA landscape. One of the things is NIL and how that's going. And is we gonna be a player in the NIL game? Where it seemed like we got one donor, Bloom, stepping up. Heard he donated 50 mil to facilities, right? And that's good, but I thought the facility was already paid for. We need to donate that money to roster support, right? Now, I know he said he dedicated, it seemed like he all in and he behind Lincoln Riley. So Lincoln Riley got to make sure this man donate this money into the right direction. That 160,000 square foot facility is already paid for. They didn't put the shovel in the ground. It's just time to just get to doing it. The funds has already been shoveled. So that 50 million he gave need to be allocated to something else. Or did he already donate that 50 million before they start building it and just now announced it? Well, whoever been helping on donating to this facility and to this program, make sure that bread come to roster acquirement. You hear me? Right? He said he was watching the game and he felt a certain way. So I hope he understands that we need money for player acquirement. You hear me? Because we ain't been one of the big players. We missed out on a lot of guys because our bag wasn't right. So hopefully more like Bloom, which is a good sign, right? Hopefully more like him can start donating and we can make sure our NIL is robust. You hear me? And another thing that we talk about this program and about Lincoln Riley, what we like to see more, and that's recruiting Southern California harder. Now, we been hearing rumors about Juju. I ain't even gonna get on Ju. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna get on that, but we been hearing Husan Longstreet rumblings. I think the 4th ranked quarterback in the country out of Corona Centennial out in the IE, local California product. Whole talks been heating up on that kid. Now that kid is raw. I feel like Juju Lewis is more ready day one and Longstreet is more of a project, but his ceiling possibly could be higher, right? So if Jaden Mahava come in and ball out for the next 2-3 years, give Longstreet the chance to develop. Ryder Lyons coming in, we'll still be great at the quarterback position, even if we lose out on Juju. So we like to see that California recruiting. But what's more importantly is these pipelines. Finally, Lincoln Riley went down to modern day, right? Finally, it seems like he's trying to make waves to modern day. He's seeing that this out-of-state recruiting ain't going too great. Class cool could be greater. It's Lincoln Riley is finally starting to listen to the noise, because at this point, I know all he hear is noise. See, when you losing like this, you gonna hear the noise. You gonna hear all the noise. I don't care what you say. When you winning, you kind of could ignore the noise and focus on the positive and the praise you getting it. But when you're getting no praise and your team is losing, you start to hear the noise. Right? Any smart man go, we evaluate, right? So it seems like Lincoln Riley is re-evaluating his approach, and USC boosters and alum is re-evaluating their approach, right? They starting to see this program needs help. We got serious competition out here, and other program got alum boosters, NIL, that's rabid fans and love their team. And for us to compete, we got to put our money where our mouth is. We got to recruit Southern California and California, period. So Lincoln Riley going out to modern day, I hope that's a good sign, right? I hope we see him at Bosco next and all these top pipelines in California, even the old ones like Long Beach Poly, even getting into the inner city ones. You hear me? Right? We got to get this on lock, because we can't keep fighting battles like we fighting. That's why it's easy, and we so worried about Juju Lewis decommitting, right? He ain't from California. He was committed to Lincoln Riley. He never was committed to SC, the school. He tied to Lincoln. And Lincoln ain't looking so good. So look now, like what? We might lose him. When you recruit local kids, it's more that could keep these kids tied. They'll say, okay, Lincoln Riley ain't the only reason I'm going to SC. I'm going to SC because that's the home turf, you dig? So we need more, we be recruiting more kids that's from the home turf because it's going to be a little bit easier to hold on to their commitment, even though they still could flip too. But we know it ain't a location flip, and it's possible that these California kids got actual love for SC. These out-of-state kids that we hearing rumblings and about to flip, the Juju Lewises of the world, and I'm hearing rumors about Shamar Arnold, his boy, right? It's easy for them to flip. They ain't from California. They ain't got no love. They don't care about SC, right? They coming for coaches and other things, right? They ain't got that love for SC. But look at Tristan Castro, Southern California product. He staying down 1,000% committed, right? It's easier for him to stay committed because he is Southern California. He's a Southern Cal kid. So he's not choosing SC just because of Lincoln Riley or the coaches had a great speech and it sound good and it looked good, because his heart there, he want to represent for his turf. So we got to start recruiting our turf because them going to be the kids that most chance going to be most loyal. These out-of-state kids might flip. They might get flipped to their hometown. Like, why you ain't representing your hometown? Why you want to go the way to West Coast? We got to fight distance, family members, peer pressure, all that. Let's focus on these Cali kids so we ain't going against the whole wall. Recruiting out-of-state kids, you got your back against the wall. You got to be going great. You know they already reverse recruiting. Oh, look at SC. They losing. You able to go way out there to the West Coast. Lincoln Riley even go beat her that long. Oh, that program's a book. They ain't a real football program. They ain't ready to compete. They ain't, you know what I'm saying? This and that. Cali kid won't care. So what? That's a hometown team. So what? We finna bring it back. We about to get it back rocking and rolling. You hear me? So it seems like Lincoln Riley, hopefully he finally seeing that, man. It is almost impossible to build a championship roster from a team that's in Southern California without getting the majority of the talent from Southern California. We got to get locked and loaded. We got to stop letting Oregon have first dibs on the Cali kids. That's a must. It's going to almost be impossible doing it this way where we focusing on out of state. And even that we focus on out of state is the fact that we not focusing on the home state. That's where you get your base. That's where your bread and butter. That's what your core foundation should be. That should be for sure. That should be for granted that you're gonna have a nice solid base of talent just on home. We need to get it to where we got a top 15 recruiting class this on home talent, because we know we gonna have our fair share of the home talent. Just our name and our current success and what we building, we should know we gonna get 10 to 15 top California kids that's gonna put us in the running for a top. Then we make that top 15, 20 class out the California kids. Then we turn that into a number one class, top 5 class with the added out-of-state kids, the Texas, the Nevadas, the Arizonas, the Utahs, the Louisianas, the Georgias, right? So hopefully this is a great sign with that, with the donor kicking in. And with Lincoln Riley going down to modern day, right? So as a USC fan, we got to learn Lincoln Riley is stubborn. He take long to learn. But when he finally learn it, he do try to do it big and get it right. He finally learned that he needed to change from Alex Grinch, and he went big with the defensive staff. Very talented defensive staff. And I get the defensive staff a passing grade this season, right? So maybe he figuring out he got to focus on California, and hopefully he can do that big. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he can do that big. And then we seen Coach Henny and Belk. They was down there and they was checking out Wynn. In the safety, they got committed Miller. They play on the same team, right? So they went down there and checked them two out, right? So hopefully we get Wynn. We ain't giving up on him. He's one of the talented defensive linemen that we want to get for this class. So this bye week, SC has been focusing on that recruiting. It don't stop. We gonna fight on and keep pushing, right? It ain't over. We having a bad season so far, but it ain't over. We could turn this thing around, right? We still gonna do what it gotta do. And I'm telling you, if our donors keep kicking in like Bloom and Riley focus on California, we heading into the right direction. I can't tell you when that'll get us to championship level, but I know having our bag right and focusing and locking down California gonna head us into a right direction, right? We lock down on California, one, that gonna build us up better, and it's gonna take away from Oregon. Oregon get a lot of their kids from California, and Oregon, they gotta recruit out of state. That's why they gotta throw so much money. That's why they gotta throw some bag. We don't gotta recruit out of state. If we get our mind right, we can recruit in state and sprinkle in the out of state. The out of state be a bonus. We need to get it back like that. And I'll kill two birds with one stone. That'll have our roster looking nice, and then a knock off the Oregon roster. Now Oregon gonna get their players because all the money they spend, and they gonna spend bread in the portal, but it ain't gonna be Cali kids. We need to make Oregon start taking kids from Texas and Georgia and Florida. Get them the hell out of California backyard. And all we gotta do to do that is get our bag right. Get our bag right and start recruiting California, and we great. We good. Just like that. So the future bright. We giving Lincoln Riley one more year, because the more I just think about this dude, he just a slow loner. He's stubborn, but he young. He's stubborn, but he great at the same time. His stubbornness is what's hold his development back. But I feel like he got what it take. It is take a lot for him to reevaluate himself, right? So we gonna give him one more year. Last year, I seen him turn the corner on getting his defensive staff right. This year, he might turn the corner and start recruiting California right? So if at least each year he correct some of his flaws, eventually he'll be flawless. Right? Eventually he be flawless. It just take a lot, and we go through so much watching this man bump his head until he finally learn. Right? But sometimes you got to learn the hard way. And Lincoln Riley just a hard-headed dude that learned the hard way, but he is a great coach. So we going to give him one more year. We can't sit. We can't keep suffering, because every year wasted is 2 years set back. Right? But that NIL donations, right, could make up for that, get us back in contention quick. With the transfer portal, we could get back in contention quick. So USC fans, the turnaround is never that far away with the transfer portal, right? So we got to keep kicking and keep kicking this positive thing. And if we got California, we ain't got to worry about the Juju Lewises and the Shamar Arnolds, right? We ain't got to worry about none of that. So hopefully Lincoln Riley stay hitting Mater Dei, stay hitting Bosco, stay hitting Mission Viejo, all these top California schools. Who else I miss? It's so many California high schools that's lit. I ain't even gonna try to name them all, right? But we got 7 or 8 that be in the top 25 in high school rankings every year, and about like 5 of them is in Southern California. So let's go, right? Crew Cali seem like the bag finna start coming in, y'all. I'm excited, right? I'm excited. Because all we really need is if he donated that $50 million and we basically already got the facility paid. If we take $25 million of that, that'll be a great roster for this year. You know, Ohio State and Oregon spend $20 million total, probably about like $10 million on high school and $10 million in transfer portal. If we come with the same bag and the same thing, we gon' pull in the top 5 class guaranteed, right? So hopefully that show effect on this recruiting cycle 2025, right? Let's show that effect on if we really want Juju, let's drop a bag so tough, make them forget about Colorado, or drop the bag on Husan, right? Whatever we got to do, but we can't take step backs. We don't need to have a mediocre 25 class, right? I feel like this top 25 class, especially with how much we losing this year, all the players that's leaving, we need a top 10 class for sure. We need a top 10 class for sure, and a top portal class. We need to be the biggest spender in the portal. I mean, if we want to win, right? We got to go into next season with a pass rusher. That's Mando. That's mandatory. And we got to go into next season with a quarterback that could fit Lincoln Riley's scheme. That's Mando Torre. For reals. So I ain't gonna keep y'all too long, man. It's your boy Carter Sports. You know, Mr. Fight On Forever in the building. We still fight on. The future's still bright at SC. We always ride around the corner for the turnaround, right? And I see it coming. Head coach look like he getting his ball game on, his head on a little right, starting to listen to what we saying, right? And the donors seem like they kicking in. So until then, man, it's Trojan City. It's SC. It's Fight On Forever. So let's go.